just calls to me quite readily, especially as we got 1.Point, of course, touted as some of the best 3-3 players in Europe, if not the best.
Potentially so, but of course Team Gigantti also do have these OWL players. We've got Zappis and Zuppe who can very effectively call these fights, who can very effectively control the flow of the game, because we've had such high-level experience playing against some of the best players in the entire world in their time on Florida Mayhem. But I have to see if it's going to be enough. Does it like both of our teams going to be coming out on that classic 3-3, no variation here, both going for Zenyatta, and all that additional damage coming from a Discord, or we can see already Davin's taking quite a bit of that.
You know, aggressive 1Point can be, already making it first to the point. Dan's going to have to build up ult charge versus Hardest, and that is no easy feat. Hardest with one of the quickest ult charges for Graviton Surge in Contenders EU. Has a grab almost every single fight, it seems. Davin's doing a good job of keeping up thus far, though. About 25% each as they do, as the point does unlock, and everybody contesting. Milky Man gets jumped on. Superbluke thrown extremely low, but it's actually Scalar who picks up the first 2 kills. Milky Man and Facility, they're going to go down.
See, that there was a great bait by 1Point. We saw Hardest actually break away, slightly away from Superbluke's shield. He got afflicted with a Discord Orb, and I think he got hit by a charge shot from Zuppe. And the second that Hardest fell low, we talked about on the desk as well how much people try and catch him out. So they all sped boost in, they tried to get onto Hardest, but the great wraparound from 1Point managed to catch him out. You can see here in our replay how everyone was sort of caught out. Zuppe was in the back, didn't have quite as much of an angle as he would like, because they could use those environmental pillars to try and remove themselves from that sight line. And 1Point were just doing far more damage to far more isolated targets.
Well, Superbluke got himself a shadow in that fight. Zuppe does have the Transcendence, however, but you probably want to save that for Hardest Grav, who's just unlocked his too. He throws it in, only catching the tank, and there's Zuppe's Transcendence to relieve a lot of that damage and pressure. And now is 1Point slightly on the back foot, but they do have a couple of support ultimates in their back. There is one of them being used now as they do surge forward with the rally.
Superbluke's going to have a little bit more armor here, but it's going to be the counter rally coming out from Facility. It's going to be moving forward here for Team Gigantti. No one going to be going down to the shadow.
Superbluke's shield was extremely low. There comes the Graviton Surge and the self-destruct right on top. No shields available. Zappis finds 2. Gigantti are now going to be able to clean the rest of 1Point up.
Here they are. It's going to be Davin just tracking down everyone right here. That's such a clean fight from Gigantti. Davin got exactly what he wanted with that Graviton Surge. He managed to push Superbluke away elsewhere and then get the Graviton Surge onto 3 members who didn't have the ability to keep themselves safe. And there's just some great follow-through there. We saw Zappis placing the self-destruct so exactly. It was so hard to be able to avoid that from the side of 1Point. But they do have their own combination of the Graviton and the self-destruct to try and make this work again. We've talked before about how good Getamazed is with these self-destructs. He's basically specced all of his points into that.
Beautiful shadow from Milky Man. The Transcendence is going off the back line just to try and supplement the healing from Team Gigantti as the self-destruct was thrown in as well from Getamazed. Couldn't quite land the combo though, and Team Gigantti still winning out the fight.
See, right there, that was such a risk for Milky Man, because you have 2 options. You can either dive into the Graviton Surge and present your shield to save everyone from the self-destruct, or you can try and have a counter shadow to make sure there's not enough follow-up from other members. But what he did there was absolutely perfect. Gigantti managed to save themselves with the Xayah shields and with the Brigitte shield. Milky Man picked up the slack.
Wow, Milky Man's already dead. Scalar finds 1. The beat is out. Fat is going to charge them forwards, but Davin has got the Graviton Surge if they do want to use it. Remember, 53% now on board for Team Gigantti. 1Point are going to rush the point, but a Graviton Surge straight on top of Hardest. Facility and Davin are going to find a couple of kills for each other and continue to hold fast.
That was so intelligent from Team Gigantti to make sure that Superbluke was their main target, because 1Point knew that they just had to move on to the point with Milky Man being dead. Team Gigantti had to feed themselves in if they did not want that point to be flipped over, and they were going to take so much damage out of that consistent shield presence that Milky Man provides. But Superbluke going down made that an even fight, easily bring out the Graviton Surge, cleanly win the fight, but Hardest can try and strike back.
No Gigantti bomb available just yet, as Davin has only 30% on the way to his ultimate. Hardest throws his Graviton Surge in, gets completely devoured by Zappis. Self-destruct though through from 1Point. It's not going to be a Getamazed bomb, unfortunately, but it does force out a Transcendence from Scalar. Milky Man going fairly low as well. He's going to have to back towards the rest of his team, but 1Point need to contest. It is now overtime, and a Transcendence has been thrown out from Team Gigantti, but Superbluke lays them all flat out on the floor as he gets a 4-man shatter. But Davin finds the first kill of the fight in Horthic, and now a rally coming through from Team Gigantti. They're going to be such harder to take down now as Milky Man ends up falling. Team Gigantti just need to stall on the point for as long as they can. They can get a couple more fights in. Another grab is thrown in by Davin, but Getamazed eats it all up.
2 eating Gravitons in a row. It's going to be 1 point trying to seal this one up with the sound barrier being taken down by Fat. Lilbo is going to have a significant premium on that ultimate now. He's 74% of the way there, and the flip over will come for 1 point. Does look like we're going to be in one fight territory by the end of the next one, Jaws. The next fight will win Lijiang Tower Night Market. But let's look at these ultimates again. We do have Hardest with the Graviton Surge. He managed to build that up quickly because Zappis ate the last one. You can build that ultimate rather quickly once the Graviton has gone away, which obviously happened incredibly quickly in that instance. Defense here is going to be all about Zupe with that Transcendence. If they can force this out quickly, then Hardest may well be in trouble.
95%, the grab goes in, it stuns 4 up. Super Blue's got the shadow as well. The rally comes out, but it isn't enough. 1 point, are going to contest the points. A cancel shatter, a Super Blue sends it out, and a Transcendence from 1 point as well. It is going to be a match by the beat from Team Gigantti as Zappis mech gets destroyed. Couldn't quite get the overshield as Super Blue falls low, but he kills Milky Man, and a Graviton Surge from 1 point is sent out again, but no one is going down. 1 point continue to hold as Super Blue ends up falling also. But Hardest, throughout the entirety of the fight, has built himself up another grab. It gets thrown in as the mech gets destroyed. A self-destruct to try and clear everybody from 1 point off, but they are overwhelmed. Hardest finds facility, and it's only Getame's mech that will be the recipient of the damage from Team Gigantti. Milky Man's gone, Zappis is destroyed, and Team 1 point will secure Night Market.
Oh, Hardest, we talk about the Graviton generation. He had like 4 in that one stage of Lijiang Tower. That's absolutely insane. And of course, being able to use that towards the end really did manage to seal up a huge amount of damage into the midst of Gigantti that was super important. But one of the things that happened there was that Davin got a Graviton in the last few seconds that could have had a huge clutch factor, but I think he may have misplaced it slightly because he only managed to catch Horthic within, and then Horthic just floated there. He rotated with his shield so that there was never any chance for Davin to lay down some consistent damage. Of course, you can try and maneuver your way around a Brigida's shield with the Xayah by laying down mortars beside them, but that's not quite enough damage to really confirm that kill, especially if you've invested a Graviton Surge as well. You need to get more value out of the most important ultimate here.
Now we are on Control Center. Of course, we're only seeing 3-3 Harry, but Super Blue has been winning out on these shield wars. He's going extreme low. They've got to be a little bit more careful. This time, Team Gigantti taking the lead in this dance as they do control the point for the time being. It is going to get unlocked in 10 seconds, though.
Milky Man under a huge amount of pressure right here. Does have Discord Orb and a couple more Orbs of Destruction as well.
Perfect takeout there as the shield bash removed the shield. And Scalar, again, finding the first kill of the fight. 1 point and now going to be able to control the point. Or as I say that, as Davin actually takes out Super Blue. So both teams now actually down a Rhine. They've got to be a little bit more careful as Milky Man will be back rather shortly. Scalar was a recipient of the repair pack, and Getame's went deep trying to make it work. Milky Man has returned to the fray, and Hardest on a little bit of a flank has the Graviton ready to go. Davin throws out another Plasma Mortar, finds the 2-piece, and Team Gigantti, after losing Milky Man at the start of that fight, end up turning it around and capping first. A masterful disengage as well, and they also had Zappis and Lilbo sort of rotating in onto the point to make sure that it was never entirely flipped in favor of 1 point, so none of that juicy percentage went over in their favor. So we're going to be seeing Graviton versus Graviton once again, but look at the disparity in charge between Getame's and Zappis. Getame's is going to be so much more ready for this combo. The grab is thrown in, that's 5 people. Removal of the shield is completely denied by that shield bash. Both trances have been used and the self-destruct launched into the air, but it is going to get blocked by Milky Man's shield. Zappis still working up towards him, and the hammer does strike the floor from Team Gigantti. It's going to be swiftly matched with a rally on top of the sound barrier, and now they're going to have to chew through that. A beautiful beat also to stop Milky Man going down instantly as Horthic bites the dust. Such good rotation of support ultimates from both teams here. We saw Fat try and lay it down to counter out the shadow from Milky Man, even though it only took down Scalar, making sure that his fellow support did not get taken out in that particular measure. But Lilbo was a little bit further behind, a little bit slower to gain that out, but it did mean they had the counter attack. The second that Milky Man got charged into the wall, taken down to 205 HP, he got the extra 750. The follow through could not occur because of all that health, and Lilbo saved the main tank and saved the fight. Gigantti have the Gigantti combo, the grab into the self-destruct. Super Blue's going to have to be extremely careful at his shield health. He is going to get slammed and pushed back with that whip shot. They're on 70% though. Gigantti still contesting. A grab thrown in, self-destruct on top, shield already gone. 3 kills for Zappis. Gigantti continue to hold, and 1 point need to do something fast. Zappis knows exactly how to use those boosters to put it literally on their heads. There's no damage drop off when you're that close to the self-destruct. 1,000 damage is more than enough to take out so many members of 1 point who look like they may well be swept here
on control center. Hardest got to make something work with this Graviton Surge. They're going to be escorted in with the Transcendence. There's the grab.
They're pushing in. The grab's going to find at least 2 people attached to that missile silo. Super Blue's going to go down first. Gigantti just clean sweeping 1Point. I think Fat actually managed to make it to the point, so he is actually going to find the cap, but it's Gigantti now turning around, making sure they can deal with him rather quickly, as hopefully the members of 1Point come back. There's the beat. Might be a solo, but he's still managing to stall out. He finally ends up going down, and Gigantti find the recap.
Super Blue can maybe try and make this work, but no, he's dead before he gets that ultimate ready to go.
But Little Bo's actually dead. Milky Man in the back line is extremely low, but it should be all good. Scalar ends up falling as he gets shattered. Horthig came back on the Doomfist. It wasn't enough. The grab comes out as well to seal the deal. And Gigantti tie Lijiang Tower up 1 apiece.
A valiant final effort there from Fat to get the flip, and well, Gigantti dealt with the pressure rather well. They thought they were getting capped on. They're like, you know what, we're winning this fight up here. We can take out these 5 members. We can round upon Fat and easily dispatch him. And not only that, if Fat's not here, his sound barrier can't affect these guys who we're killing. So we might as well keep him away so that he doesn't have the option to come back and aid in this fight, and also give the speed boost, which can mean that Milky will be put under more pressure. But now we move over to the Night Garden, and this is one of the areas of Lijiang Tower where we see far more diverse compositions.
Well, hopefully we see something like this out of 1Point.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a couple more DPS. We've seen Hardest on the Ash on Horizon and the Colony, just like they may well decide to roll out with this. Fat's actually going to be swapping over, of course, to the Mercy, just speed boosting everyone out. It's going to be up in the air with Horthig, and it looks like Team Gigantti may well be rethinking their strategy here.
Yeah, we've only really seen 1Point, and correct me if I'm wrong, but only ever play 3-3. We've not seen them change off for anything special unless it was
we've seen
just
Horizon
a
defense.
Spawn swap up, but maybe 1 extra time, but this is very unusual for 1Point to actually do this. Team Gigantti changing their comp up a little bit too. Going for the double dive tank, stabbing on the McCree, but he's swiftly dealt with by Hardest.
Not quite how the cinematic went, and Team Gigantti can't even touch before the point is capped. They're going to have to regroup with Davin. Horthig manages to kill himself, likely just going down into the lake. Doesn't want to stay on the
on the Pharah, maybe?
On the Pharah versus Anna and McCree. It's going to be moving over instead to the Doomfist.
Okay. I can't complain, Harry. I'm not going to lie.
That's such a good dynamite.
That was a big dynamite. Look at that charge as well on Hardest. He's 95%. There's one more shot and he's got Bob. Sends it straight in. It hits. No, Harry. Look, it's still peeking around the wall. Don't laugh just yet. Although it is,
he's too thick, dude.
He can't really see around the wall at all. He's actually going to get booped away as well. So now he's pretty much useless. Genomazed on the Hanzo is going to earn himself a Dragon Strike. Remember, they've been holding this point the whole time, killing off Facility as well, and they're up to 40%.
Having a cheeky flank managed to claim Hardest, but not much more than that. And Genomazed, well, he told you in solo queue, Jaws, I want to be playing more DPS. Well, you can tell he's a very happy Shimada brother right now. He usually wants the Genji, but I'm sure he'll settle for the Hanzo in this case. Question is, what could Gigantti do to try and make this work? Davin swapped over now from McCree onto the Zarya, but of course, it's going to take a while to build up towards that Graviton Surge. Meanwhile, 1Point, they have both of their support ultimates. There's going to be the Dynamite, not quite going through the wall this time. A slam, maybe a minefield as well.
Oh, the Dragons are going to come through as well. Rally soaking up at least a little bit of that damage. Milky Man was on his own for a brief period of time. Super Fluke potentially opening up the mines on the door. A nano boost on to the Winston to force people away from the gate, and actually forces out a Transcendence in the meantime as well. Milky Man will end up going down, receiving none of that sound barrier, and Super Blue jumps in once more. It's already 50-60% towards another minefield. We're on 82%, Harry. 1Point could just take it right here, right now. Meteor Strike comes in. Zappis had nowhere to hide. Horthig goes down in the mess of it all, but 1Point continue to hold.
And this is exactly what Videsse was talking about. Gigantti having trouble adapting. Zupa needs to get up towards another nano boost, but they don't have the men to do it. They're 5% away from losing Lijiang Tower.
And Hardest still exists. No one has actually touched him. Overtime is now here. Coach Gun to send Milky Man flying, and now Gigantti are just staggering themselves onto the point to make sure they can still contest.
Well, it's going to be the Dynamite, but here comes Milky. Oh no, you're not like this!
Zappe finds 2 kills though, as Genomazed and Super Fluke end up going down. Yana turned DPS from support. It's exactly what Zappe wanted, and even Facility taking out 3 people in the last fight. They managed to get the recap, and they're just quickly escorting themselves to spawn to change up.
Okay, so what happened there is that Milky Man actually got uppercut before he used his leap, which meant he had no aerial control, because we're on patch 1.30, which means Doomfist still removes all of your aerial control during Rising Uppercut, which meant that when he landed, he couldn't really move himself away. Zappis, I don't think that's OWC optimal play, my dudes.
Well,
Straight into the lake.
Right into the drink. Horthic's dead though, managed to kill himself. I think he got booped off. Gigantti should be able to win this fight rather easily. Yep, Hardest jumps off too. No worries. Davin getting a couple of kills. Not really too charged on the Zarya right now. Only 20%. Facility managed to actually boop Gedamaze there, so got a bit of extra ult charge, only 6%, but everything is counting at this point as they only need one fight win on the side of OnePoint to take the map.
Well, OnePoint is going to have an advantage in terms of his GOATS matchup because they do have the Discord Orb, which means Milky Man's going to be taking a huge amount of damage. They've got more point healing for Milky Man because of Zuppe's Ana, and they have the Bionade as well, but it's so much more consistent to have that Discord Orb.
Milky Man so close to that Shatter too. That nano boost actually slept the Lucio as well as he came through the door. Milky Man's got a Shadow now, of course, and Davin still only 50%, but they can roll these ultimates over, Harry.
Well, they're going to need to. The next fight could be the last one. We're getting over to about 75% now, and OnePoint is still regrouping. Hardest about to respawn. Super, like you said, he's close to that ultimate, but Milky Man's going to beat him there, which means next few seconds, Superpluke, if he can't hit that Fire Strike, may need to be a little bit more cautious, worrying about Milky Man coming through with this slam. But Team Gigantti are also going to be lacking in support ultimates. They can't really maintain a huge amount of pressure against high damage attacks.
Oh, the Shatter is going to get
shields.
blocked. Perfect positioning from Superpluke. Team Gigantti still have the additional armor as well. They're going to focus out Milky Man, who's afflicted with the Discord Orb. A self-destruct right on top of the point, boot straight into Gedamaze. His mech is going to get deleted, and now it is OT. Davin's still building up towards the grab, but he's only 5% away. A Shatter comes through from OnePoint, but it's going to get absorbed yet again by the shield. A Graviton Surge now available. Scalar already used the Transcendence, so they're not going to be able to sustain through it. Fat Scalar, Horthic, they're all dead. Team Gigantti with the 199-0 flip are going to be able to take Lijiang.
The Nano Ryan, what year is it, Jaws? What year is it? Milky Man swinging through there, got the extra 300 HP. That was some beautiful shield work from Hardest to try and deny that dash Shadow onto Superpluke, but in the end, we just saw how good the sustainability of an Ana can be. Milky Man got taken so low, but he just backed off. He got so much healing through. You get the Biotic Grenade, and then you're taking extra healing from everyone, because you've also got the other two supports throwing through healing as well. Milky Man's like, okay, I'm ready to go again, but OnePoint weren't ready to go again.
No, they were not. That was a 99 to 100% complete flip around for Gigantti. They take the first map in the series. Map number 2 coming up soon. It's OnePoint's choice. We'll see you in a bit. Hey guys, welcome back. 1.0 versus Gigantti. Gigantti managed to take that map 2-1. It wasn't Lee Jung, of course, and that was going to be 1.0's map choice.
Bit of a surprise turnaround as well. 99 going to 0 and then 0 to 100. The DPS composition from 1.0 rather flummoxed Gigantti for a while until what I'm going to describe as a lucky break. But now we're moving over, of course, onto the map choice of 1.0. We decided to go with Hollywood, which obviously can lend itself to some more DPS play. We've seen it throughout the season, most notably by HSL, bringing out picks like the McCree or the Junkrat. But of course, the Ashe has also been very popular during the playoffs, especially on defenses, like on Horizon First, where you have these longer sightlines. We'll have to see what's brought out here, though.
Well, it'll be 1.0's turn to attack first, of course. Gigantti on the defense. So Team Gigantti, not too much of a surprise, are going to roll out with the 3-3 on defense. I can imagine 1.0 are going to do the same thing. We haven't seen a crazy amount of variation during the latter half of the season. It was more in the early half, and especially from teams like HSL with the Orisa defense and the Junkrat too. Towards the end of the season, it was very much 3-3. That's what people did default to.
Yeah, and it seems like the main variation when it comes to 3-3 on the Hollywood first point defense is how aggressive you play. A lot of teams like to chase all the way out to the opponent's spawn, or usually run into them when they're preparing for an attack and they don't have that huge cover, because when you're moving through this central thoroughfare of the road, there's very few places you can go in order to gain effective cover, which means you can be very vulnerable to the long-range hit projectile DPS of a Zenyatta, like Scalar and Zuppe do mention. But those are like Team Gigantti, going to be a bit more cautious. They're going to play around this corner. They don't want to have their lack of cover exploited themselves.
Do make their way onto the point. Gigantti just kind of taking the pressure right now. You can see how far 1.0 are actually moving up. Using the car for cover, of course. They are going to start contesting. Both obviously running the Zenyatta as well, just to make sure those Reinhardts have a little bit of a tougher time. Super Poop letting down his shield, and actually Milky Man didn't even need it though, because obviously threw the Flame Strike right through him. But Milky Man finding 2 kills there, nets himself with nice couple of kills on the board. But no, I was going to say Holt, but it's actually Davin who's much closer. 90% now.
Oh, that's perfect. Denying Hardest all of that energy was absolutely imperative there for Davin. But what I want to talk about is where our camera was. We were focusing on Scalar that entire time, so let's look at what Scalar was targeting. Scalar just basically held M1 onto Milky Man. He was dealing so much shield damage, but I think he could have maybe had a little bit more variation, because Zappis often reveals himself away from the shield when he tries to take high ground or play on the flank, and potentially a little bit of extra damage to Zappis could not only gain you ultimate faster, but also deal more sort of like resource pressure onto Team Gigantti.
In red turn of events, Davin's got his ultimate first before Hardest. There's the Transcendence. Shield does get removed. Everybody running towards the Transcendence just to make sure they can get heals. Scalar gets displaced. A beautiful E coming through from Get Amazed. Does mean there's no grab now available. 1.0 still trying to, going to have to force themselves back, as they do throw 2 support ultimates straight at them. Beautiful bomb from Zappis over the roof is going to net him a kill. Expensive fight for both teams, and with the Graviton Surge eaten, that was really all 1.0's hopes and dreams is laid bare.
So we talk about how 1.0's tank core are the magnificent tank core that won Season 2, but there, Team Gigantti got more value out of every single tank ultimate. Milky Man took down 3 people with the Earth Shadow. We saw a pick from Zappis with the self-destruct, and we saw a landed Graviton from Davin, and not only that, it forced out the Transcendence. Meanwhile, 1.0 invested 3 tank ultimates, and they got nothing. Superpook now is going to have to try and pick it back up with this Earth Shadow, but he needs to combine with Horthic to make this work. Milky Man potentially could be defended from an incoming shield bash, because look, Zappis controls the high ground, no Ninja Brigitte.
Another Graviton Surge from Davin gets them before Hardest to this map around. Stunning the VODs in the break, it seems. Milky Man cleaning up, Get Amazed, and Zappis eating that Graviton Surge last fight. Obviously, like you mentioned, left 1.0 completely high and dry. Get Amazed does get staggered a little bit, hasn't got the self-destruct online just yet, but they're nearing 4 ultimates.
Milky Man has come alive. The Milkman is delivering right now. He doesn't care about what your preference for delivery time is. He's going to bring down the Surf Shadow rather soon. Question is, where will Visility have set up here to try and potentially get a surprise shield bash? I don't know if he's on top or if he's going to be behind. You can see him there to the left. Going to be an early Graviton here from Hardest.
On top of the cart and a Transcendence from Team Gigantti, and a 1.0 point to Transcendence to match as well. The Shadow does land. It does land on Milky Man, but that beam was perfect. 3 people on the floor as the self-destruct is launched in. Team Gigantti making a statement on this map. 30 seconds remaining for 1 point, and Team Gigantti, they can hold here. This could potentially be match point as well.
1 point are crumbling under pressure. It's going to be 10 seconds before Getamaze can get back, and then there'll be only 19 seconds on the clock, and no ultimates in the bank. Getamaze is the closest. He's still 20% away. It's going to have to be the biggest self-destruct of his life if he's going to win out over Team Gigantti and the Graviton Surge here. Not only that, the Transcendence is almost ready to go, and Zupe could potentially get that faster than Getamaze. Here, Aggression could be the ally of Team Gigantti if they don't get themselves caught out. Look at Milky Man moving forward. He's teasing. He's sending him a love taps, and there's the grab.
The Graviton Surge gets launched in. Super Fluke's dead. Davin just incinerating 1 point. Hardest is gone, and Davin, the hero for Team Gigantti, has been earning grabs at a record pace. They're going to be able to full hold on Hollywood.
Milky Man also very much holding his nerve, getting the value. He has stepped up moving into the semi-finals. Couple of question marks. Is he the caliber that LH Cloudy was? People would think, because of course LH Cloudy got picked up by Paris Eternal, as well as many members of the former Gigantti roster. But they picked up Milky Man out of the ladder. I believe he used to actually play for HSL during Open Division and during a couple of other tournaments. Was brought into this roster with all this support behind him. Gigantti, new coaching staff as well, Tanny, and here he is in the semi-finals. He's holding his own. He's not holding his own. He is schooling Super Pluke, the Season 2 champion, the man of the GOAT. And Milky Man, well, he's milking the GOAT right now.
I don't know about that reference, man, but...
You can milk goats.
You can, but Peggy 13 broadcast. 1 point on the...
It's agriculture.
Okay.
I went on a school trip to a farm when I was like 7.
So did I. They were the worst, man.
Well, they didn't milk goats on that farm.
No, they... What? I can't wait for... We've gone from geography lessons to maths lessons to English lessons. Now we're just describing our school trips. Like, we're going the whole hog.
Yeah, man.
1 point on the defense, Harry. Team Gigantti need 33% of the first point in order to take match point against 1 point. There's a lot of points in there. That'll be my last before the gates open.
And my point is, 1 point here, the best they can do is draw. They are hoping to go into our second map break at a 1-0. That's the best they can hope for because they didn't cap absolutely anything. Team Gigantti here can very much take their time. They know they only need to win one fight. They don't even need to win a fight. They've only got to get a tick. They could just build up towards all 6 ultimates and then just take a very favorable fight. But this won't be that.
Scalar's been popping off as well on side of 1 point. Every single fight, it seems he's being able to pick at least one person off, regardless of who it is. He actually did it in our quarterfinals as well a couple of days ago. Team Gigantti going for a swift reset. Still got a lot of time.
Yeah, they do. Super Fluke going to be catching a couple of those orbs, trying to get some extra energy for Hardest, but won't be the case this time. And there's nothing to defend him now.
That's a lot of damage. Super Fluke's going to go down. Get Amaze mech as well. Is going to get deleted. Milky Man is so low, but can just hold his shield up. Horthick is going to get advanced on. Davin finds the kill. 1 point are crumbling right now. So-called the best GOATS team in EU right now are getting schooled by Gigantti. 33% is all that they needed, and they are going to get it. Team Gigantti on match point.
Hardest was too hungry for energy, and Gigantti put him on a diet. The second they saw that projected barrier get no value on Super Fluke when he was there for it, they're like, oh, we'll just speed boost, and we're going to murder Super Fluke so hard you don't even know what's happened. He got absolutely eviscerated. It was perfect play from Team Gigantti to capitalize on the mistakes that were made by 1 point, as well as completely consistent play on the defense.
Scalar made that first opening pick, but it was not enough. Soon as they got a target in their sights, Harry, they're just going to run them down, just speed boost everybody up, shield slam into the Discord, into the kill, onto 1 point. And with that, match point for Team Gigantti. We're going to jump over to the desk. They're going to break down the first 2 games some more.